And good morning, YouTube. This is your Ghost Rider, taking a flashback 6 months ago. A beautiful midsummer day. As we look back in the past to prepare for the future riding season ahead, a little road that I enjoyed going down in a previous video, I nicknamed it my mini dragon. And you'll see as we go on down the road. Today is actually January the 13th, it's 2018. About 11:24 in the morning, and we just had to do a little video from what I call my scrap files, or maybe not so scrap files, and we're going to look back on summer riding conditions and bring you into current winter riding conditions. On the right is a video that might look familiar to some of you. I posted it on the 1st of January. It was supposed to be a ride down, not down this road, but in the area where we're supposed to do the ride to support the veterans. But I just brought it up here to show the difference in the riding conditions, in particular the speed. And you notice the video on the right might be a little off, not so much because I didn't time it correctly, because I was actually going slower. It was a very 19 degrees day that day, and had icing conditions where they canceled that veteran support ride that we were supposed to go on. That didn't happen. And you notice the picture on the right there is a few seconds behind at this point, but as we go along, you'll see it really slow down. And if you look over there right here, you see it got to that intersection, and we're maybe about 10 to 12 seconds behind here. But now we start getting down into the twisties on the left here during the summertime. I mean, just beautiful country. Love riding down this road, as I said before. 324 South, down here in southern Lancaster. But, you know, just had to be mindful of possible ice patches, and, you know, some of them did show up in the video, which I actually didn't see until I reviewed the video, that there were some ice patches onto the right of the lane, and in one particular spot right in the center of the lane, and I was to the left of it. But it's the risk that's taken, you know, when riding in the wintertime. Another thing I didn't like was after I got back and I started to wipe down Red Scorpion in the garage, actually how much salt dust came up off of that road to the underside of the Goldwing. And I just decided I'm going to stick to my original plan of not getting out there and riding while there's salt on the road. We had rains over the last day and a half that really washed all the salt away. Right now, roads are pretty dry out there. Still the risk of icing in certain spots. We got mostly sunny skies. Like I said, the temperature is about 28 degrees, but believe it or not, the wind is blowing so strong, the wind chill are down into the single digit out there. Might have been a good day for riding, but right now I put the Red Scorpion hooked up a battery tender, and I'd like to give a shout out to Goldwing Music Man. I watched his video on how to install that, and it was very helpful. Thank you, Goldwing Music Man. Check his channel out if you have the chance there. But this road, you see me going it, leaning into the turns and just twisting on the throttle on the left side of this screen. A real beautiful road. And now we're really dragging behind on the January 1st video to the right. This really gives myself a lot of vicarious living. I look back to the summer riding season, looking ahead to the spring and summer riding season that's coming up, and it helps me to endure these bitterly cold days, and whether it's salt or snow or just bitterly cold, as I said. Right now, all the snow is washed away from the grass, from the roads. We had 60 degrees yesterday, over 60 degrees, and now we're down in the 20s. Wind chills, like I said, down to single digits, and tomorrow is not going to be any better. But it's one of the, I want to say, hazards maybe of living in what I call the snow belt. When I bought that battery tender, I said to the salesperson, I said, I never had to buy this when I lived in Virginia because I was riding all the time. Never had to deal with salting conditions, not a whole lot of snow. It would snow today, it'd all be gone tomorrow because it melted away. So the need to put salt down was very minimal. You know, snowfall average very low in the southeastern part of Virginia where I was. But this road here, getting down here through these little villages and then getting into the forest, and there's like a state park further down the end of this road. It really gets real twisty. Right there on the right, you see the ice right there in the center of the lane. That's what I'm talking about. I did not see that on the bridge while I was riding. And the camera picked it up because of, the angle that it was mounted at. And that's what you call black ice. The thing you try to look out for, but you never actually see it until it's too late sometimes. Just got to be careful. Has anyone ever been out there riding in the cold season and come across some black ice where you made it across it? Or on the downside, did you ever get put down by black ice while riding your motorcycle in the wintertime? I guess some people would say, just go ahead and put it up in the garage, put it on the battery tender, and call it the end of the season. Just keep that battery charging and toasty and keep the going in good condition. Still beautiful scenery on the right, if you appreciate looking at the snow, but as far as riding, kind of iffy there. But I really got down into these turns here. You see it, signs painted on the road, slow, because these are some really tight turns. Really got to lean in on Red Scorpion there. And this is where, 72 seconds behind, where the winter video ended. And that was a cold day. I had shut it down here and turned it around. But now we're back to looking at the thrills of going down 324 South. I like the curves in this road, the grade, the scenery. And it ends up in a very beautiful spot. If you hang with me, you get to see the treat at the end of this video. Summer riding, there's nothing like it. I enjoy looking back through my videos, the ones that I published, the ones that, like I said, I keep for my own personal viewing. Went out. We had a snowstorm a couple weeks ago. And this was up in the mountains, up in the Pocono Mountains on the right side. It was the 3rd of January. And I kind of toyed with the idea of whether staying in or taking the 18 out there on the road. And I tell you, it was an okay day for me. No mishaps, no incidents. But some people didn't fare so well. There were a lot of accidents out there. It was a bitterly cold day. Was not much snow, but it was so cold and had been cold. Here we have one driver. He got over the guardrail. His wagon's tilting up in the air. And, I got to this after the fact. I really don't know what happened to the driver, if he was okay. But the conditions were really bad that day. And if you try to push it too hard, you end up in conditions like that. And signs up all along the road to tell you what kind of weather we're having. as if the snow and the wind and the ice wasn't a clue. It's winter weather. But seriously, it was cautioning people to slow down because of the winter weather. I just happened to take the sign when it flashed out winter weather, try to be a little humorous about it. But it was almost a regretful day. But thankfully, like I said, I made it out, made it up there in the Poconos and made it back. Getting up in those mountains when it's snowing and we have wind blowing. Lots of times I'll be going with an empty trailer up there, and it's that wind will come up at a right angle against that trailer. You hit a piece of ice, and it will blow that trailer sideways. I don't know if any of you have experienced that. But back to summer riding. It's nothing like it. No more chill on the bone. Nice breeze blowing. Wasn't a particularly hot day, if I remember it correctly. You know, like I said, it was a nice breeze blowing, bright sunshine. I mean, beautiful countryside. Breathe, take a lungful of that deep, fresh air and let it back out, and no frosticles forming around your breath. Yeah. The only hazard at this time, especially after the rain, you know, sometimes the sand and gravel will wash down off the hillside into the roadway and get into some of these corners, and still have to be careful then. You know, if it's not ice and snow, it's sand and gravel in the summertime. But still made for a much more enjoyable ride during the summer than it did in the wintertime. I mean, look at these curves here. They just keep on coming. Now, it is the Mini Dragon. And this is that state park over here on the left. A lot of people go fishing over there in the summertime, sit out and camp and barbecue. It's just a real beautiful time. But like I said, got to watch out for the sand and gravel in some of these turns. I apologize for the fuzziness of the camera here. We're hoping in 2018 to really get to that Cena 10C and get it mounted and really have some good vlogs going. But for now, while it's cold outside, and like I said, I don't have any of that hot wire gear. Not that I normally need it. But, you know, taking care of some chores around the homestead, and I guess by the time I get out to get all of that done, the sunshine will be gone, and don't know if I'll be able to get much riding in today. Maybe tomorrow, but tomorrow is supposed to be even colder. But if the sunshine is there, then I think I'll get out and make a few turns. Because like I said, all that salt is washed away and the roads are clear now. So even though it's cold, I'll get out there and ride a little. And if I do, I'll take you all along with me. Well, what do you think about this road and my comparison to the Dragon down there in North Carolina and Tennessee? We're coming up to the end of it right now. I'll show you one more video of what happened out there on the 3rd of January in that snowstorm. Memphis Mike, you might want to take a look at this. And there was another rider I saw on the Chris Caliente Facebook group that drives for UPS as well. And he took a picture of himself and his truck sitting in the dock at the snow when the snow was falling. There's what happened to one of your other partners out there. Like I said, it's rough being out there in an 18 and dealing with the weather and the traffic. But we get down here to the river back in the summertime. I mean, absolutely beautiful, peaceful, serene. It's what keeps me going through the wintertime, to knowing that when the spring comes back again and all through the summer and the fall, I can ride to places like this and take a deep breath and just enjoy it. Some people are out here fishing. Some people are sitting around enjoying the sunset. I remember this was in the afternoon. You know, people on their bicycles riding. I mean, just look at that sunset over that lake, over the river. And this is a huge part of the river right here. A lot of people get their boats in the water. Boat ramp is over there to the left, as you'll see in a second. And just look at that. Scenery like that, I just love to see. You get out riding and get up against the water, whether it's the ocean or lakes or rivers. Just beautiful. And here we come upon someone getting ready to get in the boat. Get back to reality on January 3rd. This was Interstate 80 across the Poconos in Pennsylvania. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Hope to see you again soon. For now, it's Ghost Rider in the homestead. Red Scorpion in the garage. We're 10-7.